One and a two and a long box funk. Long box funk. Long box funk. Long box funk.
And just like that, we're into another brand new episode right here on the Long Box Funk. That's me. I'm Chris. I'm the Punk, and I am joined by not one, but two creatives on this episode. It's another stream team duo. We've got MJ, we've got Shawn, and we're going to be talking about Wesstron, their comic that I actually posted a review of back in June when the campaign was live on Kickstarter. So thank you both for making some time on a Monday evening to hang out with me. I'm excited to talk to you both.
Absolutely. So happy to be here. Thanks for having us. And thanks for your kind review on the comic as well.
For sure. Yeah, I like what you guys are doing. I like the vibe. We'll get into all of that. I've got some stuff that I want to ask specifically about. But before we get into all of that, as a comic podcast, I have to start with an origin story. So how did you get into comics? How did you start creating comics? And like what led us to 2025 talking to each other about a comic that you created?
Well, I'll start first because my origin story goes back to before MJ was born. It was 1989 Batman, 100%. You know, it was Batmania. I fell right into it. I saw that movie. I felt my DNA being altered to
Yeah.
like Bat DNA. And I just never looked back. Just voracious comic reader since I was 10 years old. And then being a comic fan got me into the film industry because the show Constantine came out, and I liked making replicas of movie props. And so I made a replica from that show. The production designer saw it on Twitter, ended up hiring me into the film industry. And then I worked on the show Stargirl, bringing it right back to comics. And that leads into working with MJ, which, I'll let him pick up that end of the story.
My origin with comics, as a kid, we had all the Donald Duck comics from my parents' childhood, and well, I read those. To read the Marvel or DC comics, they were expensive. When I was a teen, I didn't have many of them, but the medium just did speak to me. It was something about it, and I loved the characters. I grew up watching Batman the Animated Series, Teen Titans, and yeah.
That's great.
Now picking back to where Shawn left off, the idea of Wesstron came to me a few years ago, and I'm sorry.
You're okay?
He's filtering his responses through like 3 different languages.
Yeah.
He speaks
he
4
mentioned-
languages, this guy.
Crazy. I barely speak one.
I speak English and bad English.
So
Am I
once, go ahead, MJ.
No, it's fine.
So like once you had the idea for Wesstron and you wanted to make it a comic book, like how did you and Shawn connect, or Shawn, maybe you take, like, how did the two of you come together to work on this book?
Well, because I worked on Stargirl, I also did a podcast about Stargirl called Stargirl After Show, the absolute best after show podcast ever made, if I say so myself. And MJ was part of a wiki group. And man, those nerds are super obsessed with like knowing every little detail about everything. So they were constantly bombarding me on Twitter. And they convinced me to join their Discord. And I did. And then like I got to know MJ and some of the others, mostly MJ. And he just asked me to if I wanted to write a comic with him. And I was right at this weird point where I was like feeling in a really creative groove and feeling like I needed some outlet, and that was the one.
Before that, I asked you if you could help me with a series Bible.
Oh, yeah, because I did the series Bible for Stargirl,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I didn't even remember that.
See? Yeah,
That's great. So it started just from, as Mustafa says, a long time ago in a Discord server far away, or really super close because it's probably just on your computer. But I love that that's the connection that brought the two of you together. So MJ, was the idea initially yours, and then you worked with Shawn to flesh out the details?
the 7 story arcs, they changed, of course, but the bare bone of it was me. And then I brought on Shawn. We developed it to flesh it more out. I did overstuff it. The first chapter was overstuffed with ideas, way too much.
Yeah,
So,
MJ's strength is coming up with a shit ton of ideas, and his weakness is in editing those into something that someone can follow along with. And my strengths are the opposite of his strengths, and so we
Oh,
work
nice.
really well together in that regard.
Yeah, it is hard though when you have all of those ideas that you want to have all of them come out right away, and then to be able to narrow those down and maybe set some on, like, man, that's better for a later chapter, or that can be its own arc after this thing happens. So I totally get the, like, having all of the ideas and not easily being able to reduce that down to just, here's our first.
I always compare it to Ghostbusters,
Okay.
because the first draft for Ghostbusters that Dan Aykroyd wrote was 400 pages,
Jeez.
which I think is like a 6-hour movie.
That's
And,
wild.
they trimmed it down to the most perfect comedy ever written. Ghostbusters is a perfect movie. I'll fight anyone who says otherwise.
Hey, this is a safe space. You're allowed to, you know, have your favorite movies and plant your flag. I have no problem with doing
Not even
that
my
at all.
favorite movie. It's just flawless. Like that's objective truth. Ghostbusters is flawless. You can't find a flaw in it, period.
So what was like, walk me through the process of scripting out this first issue of Westron, and really the first arc for the story and these characters. Like, what was the collaboration like between the two of you?
Well, the first step was outlining the entire series. So MJ always wanted to do 7 individual stories, and we sort of worked it out. I don't remember exactly how this went, honestly. I remember struggling to read this like wall of text of ideas that he had, but then like when we talked through it, I could see some things and figure out how to take them across all 7 of our story arcs, which was originally going to be 7 prestige issues, like 64 pages each. But then James Robinson convinced us to just go normal size issues. And so we made the story arcs. But the way that we found worked really well is sort of the same way that TV series are plotted out. You do a broad outline for the whole series, the whole season, I guess. And then you sort of find your, you know what the breakpoints are for each story and the overall story that you want to tell for each story. And then you sort of just go back over it in iterations, filling in detail until you get to the point where you're like, okay, now we just do the first story arc. And then you just block that out. So like this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens, and then fill in more gaps and fill in more gaps until you have a story.
You make it sound so simple.
Well, and initially this first arc was written as a 64-page thing. It's the first one that we completed until James Robinson was like, yeah, but if you want to publish this, no publisher is going to, but picture it in a British accent, no publisher is going to publish a 7-issue miniseries of 64 pages each. That's just not going to happen. If you're going to self-publish, and we hoped to do a Dark Horse or an Image. So we took that advice and we fleshed it out more, and we felt like it just gave us so much more room to breathe by taking 64 pages and taking it out to 4 full issues.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that separation changed the process of creating or telling each of the arcs, or was it still very similar, just more refined on the end for each single issue?
It's the same thing, except that now we have, instead of one story end, we have 3 mini ends. We've got those moments that you stop on at the end of every issue that have to drive on the reader to get them to want more. And finding those moments and hitting them in something we'd already written was a little tough. But I think that planning those out and having them is a really good skill to have. And I think it helps you keep things from being too mundane for too long as well.
Yeah.
So even if we did go and do a 64-page thing or a longer graphic novel, I'm going to keep that sort of breakpoint mentality in mind,
Yeah.
If you're writing TV, you should write for commercial breaks, even if you're going streaming. Same deal.
It really is very similar, at least. I mean, I haven't done any TV work, but thinking about how that works and taking what you've said, it really does feel linear in very similar process of, a comic book has a staggered release. It's not all dumped at once if you're doing the single issues, whereas the TV show has the similar episodic breakdowns. And then even within the breakdowns, you've got comics that have the page turns and TV shows that have the commercial breaks. And so everything, it suddenly goes from this massive thing into smaller pieces, smaller pieces, smaller pieces, smaller pieces. And then you get to turn it into bigger pieces, bigger pieces, bigger pieces to break it into, here's the detail that goes on in each page. Here's the detail that, goes on for each character. So where, before you launched this first issue, which congrats on the funding on Kickstarter. And I know you've got the
Thank you.
last chance pledges going on Indiegogo currently, which I think is super smart.
It would be smart if anyone was going for it. I don't think anyone's pledged over there yet. Hint.
Hints. Business side of things, you can tap on the link in the description and it'll take you to the Indiegogo because it's there. And you have some awesome add-ons. I'm getting ahead of myself, and that's totally okay because we're live. The red case book that you've got with this super nice embossed logo on it, like that's such a cool add-on. Yeah, look at it. The golden and you can hear the like matte finish
Look at
on
that
it
shine
too.
on there. Look at that. Shling.
That's
It's
so
almost
nice.
hear it go schwang. Yeah, this was an idea that we had like early on for an add-on because Jan, our main character, basically our story is being read out of this. He has a secret case book for all his supernatural files that he keeps separate from his normal PI stuff. And we've got a sequence in the book where someone is breaking into his office and they find this book and they start reading the case that we're going over from this book. And that's going to be all 7 of our stories
Oh, cool.
in our series are being read from this. And then you'll find out who that is reading the book, and it's we got plans.
Great. So for those that might not know, tell me about Wesstron. Tell me about the story. Tell me about Jan. Tell me like where did this all come from?
I mean, that's MJ. Hit it, dude.
Uh, can I oh, Sean, can you take the part what it's all about? You can tell it better, and I would talk about where it came from.
Fair. I have to write with this guy.
Lucky you.
Every excuse me, every time I use an idiom, and I've almost like trained myself not to use idioms because they just don't translate to German and Polish.
Yeah.
It's raining cats and dogs out here. What that does mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's got so many ideas. It's worth the extra steps in translating.
Yeah. And I mean, I love like, it's obvious that MJ's got a ton of talent. Seeing more of what you guys come out with and anybody that comes up immediately with the 7 stories for the one world, like right off the bat is just impressive. So, yes.
There's the danger of like there's a newbie danger where people that are new to things always plan out some grand, expansive world. They want to just jump right in and be George R.R. Martin straight out of the gate.
Yep.
And MJ did not do that. MJ had 7 stories, and they all stand sort of on their own. I think of them like the Discworld, if you've read those. By Terry Pratchett. There's 42 books.
Jeez.
But you can read any one of them in a vacuum because they don't depend on knowledge from the other books.
Cool.
But they also can be read as one whole thing. So our stories are 7 stories that are all individual cases that Jan has handled over an 11-year period. And then if you remember the flashbacks from the first issue, that runs throughout as well. But the flashbacks start where they do in the first issue, and they run more linearly and tell his entire story from that point up until right before the beginning of the series.
Oh,
so
cool.
it gets us back around to the status quo at which we meet him in the main story. And it's basically just these 7 cases that pit him against these weird supernatural creatures from Slavic legend. And how that affects him and has affected him. And all those flashbacks, while telling his story, also, tie in with the main story. and sort of reflect each other. Like, I don't know if you noticed in issue 1, the last shot of adult Jan before it goes into the flashback
Yep.
mirrors the last shot of teenage Jan in the flashback.
Yeah.
We did like the same layout in the panels because we want these things to mirror and reflect each other.
Yeah. And that's a great like device that only works in comics. Unless you're like CSI or NCIS that had the the black and white freeze frame of whatever character, and then they go into the space of the show between commercials and it ends with the same that they started with, if I'm remembering correctly. But
Like
that was,
interstitials.
I think that's the word. Yeah, that's a big word, so I don't usually handle anything over 4 syllables. But yeah, the having the same layout for those panels from the case and then from the flashback scene definitely was like, oh, these are definitely like these are mirror stories that are going to inform the other as the story continues. So I love that those are even running up until the beginning of the series as the flashbacks.
I remember when you posted your video, we were talking about it, and you called out some things that I don't know about MJ, but I personally had some trepidation as to whether they would land or be communicated
Yeah.
as well as I'd hoped. And you picked up on them, and that made me feel real great.
Excellent. Whatever I can do to make creators feel better, I'm glad that that landed. So,
Well,
but yeah,
I'm glad that we made it land, or that we were able to make
Yeah.
it land. You know, you always worry about, when you're doing subtle things.
yep,
You worry, is this too subtle?
yep,
Because you don't want to think that your audience is dumb, but you also know that most of the world is dumb.
yeah, that's
But
real.
but our audience, they're the smart ones.
That's right. And I am among the smart ones. Take that, mom.
Woohoo!
Oh, all baggage aside, not that we're going into any baggage here at all. MJ, so what was the like inspiration for this initially?
Oh, I loved detective stories. I love and I I love detective stories, and I love horror. And I grew up with Slavic legends, Slavic myths, uh, and I thought they were underused. Not that we stick strictly to Slavic folklore. We go out of our way. But I didn't see, personally, I haven't mm, seen something that utilizes detective uh, work with horror like that. And I loved the idea of it. It was, I found it cool. It's, and it just came later. The idea of the story, I had Jan as a character was existing a bit before the his story arcs, and his inspirations. Well, in a sense, a bit of Constantine is there. I and
But without being like a magician, because
yeah, no,
John
no,
Constantine is into magic,
Mhm.
and this is a guy who's into solving crimes, but
yeah, he
for reasons, question mark. some of those crimes lead to, let's say, unconventional perps.
Yeah, I wanted always that Jan would be a regular human being without any magical abilities, without learning how to do magic in the same sense as Constantine does. Nor did I want to take any magical elements except for the creatures themselves. I'd like to ground it as much as possible.
Yeah, like my
That's
favorite
fair.
thing about John Constantine is when he just uses his wits against demons and shit.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, the
casting a
sarcasm.
spell or putting your tattooed arms together in the American movie, that doesn't do anything for me personally. Same with like Batman. Like he can kick someone in the face real good, and that's great. But like when I started reading Batman in the early 90s, he was actually like going around and like rooting through crime scenes and picking up clues and doing investigating. It was like right after Robin died. It was a great period, and he was just like really pared down and street level, and that's the Batman I got hooked on. And that's the shit I love, solving mysteries. Like I've got a hardcover of the complete Sherlock Holmes over here.
Nice.
You know, that I'm just as into that stuff. And though I never was really too introduced to Slavic legend before I met MJ, also really into really weird monsters of folklore that nobody talks about. But for me, it's like the Welsh and Scottish fairy
Okay.
folk.
Okay.
You know, your red caps and your kobolds and your Nuklavi and all of these weird things. I've been into those since the 90s. Like
Okay.
the late 90s, I got into that stuff through Brian Froud's work. So, I don't know. MJ was like, hey, you want to work on something that's like a bunch of shit you already really love all mushed together? And I was like, nah.
Twist my arm a little bit more. Yeah. So were the like Scottish folklore that you were into, was that related to like, was that in any way familial for you, or was it just based on like other writings that you had picked up and read?
Well, in terms of like my fascination with it, like I got this book by Brian Froud called Fairies. Brian Froud is one of the concept artists for the Lord of the Rings movies, for
Okay.
example. His wife sculpted Yoda also, the original one.
That's awesome.
But it was just like this sketchbook with these brief descriptions of these, and you know, you say fairy, but it's the one with an E in it. It's
Yep.
not pixie women with wings. It's like just really weird, dark shit.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just captured my imagination all on its own. And I've got so many books about that stuff. And the Slavic stuff that MJ's into, also it's in the same kind of vein. European people just like really, really terrible parents, I guess, back in the day. Like, if my kid isn't going to bed scared that something's going to eat them, I'm doing a bad job as a parent, they must say to themselves.
Was that true for you, MJ?
Not going to sleep, but my grandma loved to put fear into us. Don't go there, there's Baba Yaga. Don't go there, there will be Baba Yaga. She will catch you, she will eat you. And
Great. That's super. I'm glad that my Nana never told me anything like that. I never
I mean,
had to live
I
with that.
grew up when Adam Walsh was found beheaded.
Okay.
And so that's all we needed to like watch where we were going was like, there's actual like real people out there that will just kidnap you and murder you even though you're a small child. So stranger danger, all of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So we didn't need creepy monsters, but I guess they have better people in Europe, and so they had to create monsters for their kids to be scared of instead of just people.
Yeah. Yeah. Us here in the States are full of monsters that are just people. So we don't need to stretch the imagination too far over here. Um, for, for each of the cases that you have planned for Jan, are they based on different folklore, or is there like overlap of some of the different folk stories?
Uh, s-
We're
some
basically using creatures from folklore,
Okay.
but we're not basing the stories in any of the specific legends,
Got it. Okay.
if you follow. We're
Yep.
sort of creating our own unifying folklore under which these various creatures can exist.
Yep. And are they all like MJ? Are these monsters ones that you grew up hearing about?
no.
Okay,
Most of them no.
great.
Yeah, he basically as an adult started reading about more of those
Okay.
other than the ones that his grandma scared him with.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, they were not all scary.
That's great. So you mentioned one of the things that I wanted to call out that we kind of already touched on were the flashback scenes and having utilizing two different artists to have two very different feelings of the pages and of the stories that are being told in both the casebook files and the flashbacks. I basically just wanted to be like, hey, that's an awesome thing that you did with that. Like, I love how you distinguished the difference between the two and also tied them together with some of the mirroring of the same, shots and the compositions of the panels. I thought it was slick. Like, I really like it, and I like hearing that it's going to continue.
Thanks.
Yeah, like what was the motivation to find the two unique artists to tell the flashback versus the case?
It really started as a matter of necessity because we did initially just have one artist to do the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the initial artist that we were using had he wasn't as dependable as we wanted him to be. So we were like, why don't we get this other guy? Like, there were the two people we were choosing between. One was this guy, one was Nicholas. We're like, why don't we hire Nicholas to do the bulk of the book, and then this guy can just do the flashbacks because he's having trouble delivering when he says he's going to deliver. So that's
Got it.
not a lot.
Yep.
And then he still wasn't delivering. So Nicholas recommended Matthias to us, and so we kept the same idea and just replaced that original guy altogether. I won't name him. He's a great artist. I don't know if he had just taken on more than he could handle at that point,
Yeah.
or more than he thought he could handle more. I don't know. But Matthias and Nicholas know each other. They live in the same town. They can compare notes very easily to help us bring that united feel to their very disparate styles.
Mm-hmm.
And you haven't seen it yet, but Matthias can get really creepy as well.
Awesome.
Which is a necessity, but when you see like the beginning of that flashback, we really wanted a bright, happy counterpoint
Yeah.
to the darkness that we'd seen up to that point, and I think he nailed that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely it feels very different. And then there was also like I was waiting for something awful to happen in the flashbacks because of how heavy the like case was playing out already. And I was like, this can't just be like daisies in the middle of doom and gloom. Like there has to be something dark that's happening or that's coming. But I love the stark contrast of colors and even the style of the art in the flashbacks feels very, excited, feels very young, feels very playful. And so like all of those things together where it's like stitched in between the darker narrative of what Jan is discovering in the woods is just like heartbreaking that you're like, inserting all of this hope and this potential for good with all of this like just terrible dark storytelling around it. How do you like
It's a risky gambit,
yeah,
and we'll see in the fullness of time if like it really works, because I've never seen two styles used in this way in a comic.
yeah.
And I'm just hoping that we pull it off. And if we don't pull it off, it's going to be our fault, not our artists' fault. Because our artists are amazing, and I'll say nothing bad about them.
They are amazing.
But also, we're awesome, so I'm pretty sure we're going to nail it, right?
Stick the landing. Yep. 100%. How do you find as you're writing some of the darker scenes or, working with either artist to bring the ideas to life? Like, how do you see that writing those darker scenes impacts your mood and your general persona when you're not sitting at the writing table? Like, does it hang with you when you go to dinner with friends or, hang out for the evening with your cat where you're just like, ugh? Does that stick with you?
I don't think so. For me, it's almost like acting.
Okay.
I don't draw well, but when I was like in high school, I was always drawing comic book stuff. And I remember at one point I was sitting in my 9th grade physical science class, and I was drawing some angry superhero guy. And my teacher, Mr. Ferraccio, I'll never forget him, silly name, he walks by and said something to me. I looked up at him like this, because that's the face I was making drawing the dude, because I was like being him, I was acting him.
Yeah.
And when I write, I kind of act those characters. And I think because it's acting, it's not something that you carry with you, because I'm not a method actor, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm able to just like act like these two teen girls walking through the woods. And then, tragedy happens and I move on with my life and act the next thing.
That's a fascinating explanation for that. And as someone who anytime I'm looking for an emoji, I have to make whatever emoji I'm trying to be or like use so that I can remember what the emoji looks like. Like I'll be sitting on my phone and I want to send the like flat face, just the emoji, and I'll make that face at my phone so that I can remember what the face looks like so that it's easier to stand out, because otherwise there's just 700 emoji and
you just made me wonder why our phone can't just look at our face and go, oh, you mean this emoji?
Oh, this one. Got it. See, I just want a folder so that I can mark certain emoji as favorites and keep them in a folder. And then I have them right there, because it's not always my recently used ones. that I want to use every day. There's
Well,
some
I'm sure
deep
Tim
cuts.
Cook is listening to this. Obviously, he's a fan.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
clearly.
there you go, Tim. Get at it.
Clearly. Everything I have is Apple. So like to do it for an Apple person at least.
There you go.
But that I mean like so when you were working on Stargirl.
Now, I got to say, I'm only speaking for myself on that last question. I don't know. MJ might be afraid to walk down the street after we write. That's
No, no. It doesn't stay with me. I, it's it's still fiction. Even if we create it, I I don't know. I just I can discrim this. I forgot I have the word, but I don't know how to pronounce it. Distinguish.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Distinguish them. It's easy for me to do. It's yeah.
Also, I have to say that like when we write this stuff, we don't. It's not like writing prose, where we don't have to like walk down this dark path in like all this detail. Our scripts aren't meant to be read by the public. Our scripts are just meant to be read by the artists. So we can say, make this really creepy. And they do it.
Yeah,
or we say like, I'll write things like, this is the big reveal of this moment. And we really want it to be gross and disturbing and, you know, a person seeing this is probably going to turn around and puke in the bushes immediately. So go for that. And it's almost conversational sometimes in the way we write. Because that's all comic scripts need to be.
Yeah.
If you read comic scripts, which are more difficult to find than movie scripts, for sure. But when you find them, a lot of them are just like directly speaking to an artist. They're like, hey, Jimmy, let's do this. And, you know, whichever kind of car you're better at drawing, either this or this, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know,
there is something very unique about the working relationship with writer and artist, because of that exact thing of, you know, did you have like mood boards or like inspirational, like, hey, we're really trying to evoke this feeling for like the carnival, like here's a picture of something that I have in my head, you know, don't replicate it, but like this is where I'm trying to get to. Do you include stuff like that?
Yeah, we have pages of reference, especially because our artists are in Argentina, but our comic takes place in Poland and Germany. And so we've got a bunch of photos of Polish villages and, you know, courtyards with a fountain in them.
Yeah.
In Poland or Germany or, you know, that kind of thing. Not so much for mood. We just are giving them like reference of the kinds of things that we want. And you don't really see one, but in the crime scene in the woods, there's like one of those Home Depot work lights.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's lighting the body. But, you know, we included that. Like, here's the work light that we're referring to.
Okay.
That's, you know, things like that, just to make sure that objects and locations are looking right. But I've made mood boards for TV shows, and like pitch decks for stuff. And we're not doing that. We're just telling our artists, like, here's the mood. Like, our words should be able to describe the mood well enough for an artist to be able to go, okay, here's that mood.
Yeah.
So far, it's worked.
So far. No, I love that a lot. And I had never even thought about the like including reference pictures for your artist. Because I am not confident in my drawing above just like a simple sketch level. Um, but like I can look at something and, I just do the like, oh, I'm looking at a picture of Thor. So I'm going to draw Thor in that exact same pose because I know exactly what the shapes should look like. And I still am like, yeah, missed the mark. But including reference images, I had never thought of before. Someone on the show it was either earlier this month or last month mentioned like, yeah, well, that was one of my references. I was like, what are you talking about? It was a completely new idea to me. So now I'm just fascinated. Like, what do you include? Like, what don't you include? What could you include? What have you included? So,
Yeah, some comic scripts have them like right in the body of the script. So like you'll read what's happening and then scroll through 3 pages of photos and then get to the next panel.
yeah,
Very, very big comic writers will do that. Like top guys. But I prefer to have them all at the end and just say like see the reference. And then the references that we put in are like here's page 4 panel 3, page 5 panel 1.
yeah,
So they can read the script without interruption because that's how I would prefer to read it.
Yep.
And they can just go to the end. I do kind of want to create a comic writing app, however.
Ooh.
And one of the things that I'm going to do is like have like see reference and you can click on it and it'll pop up right there.
That's cool.
So you can choose how you want to do it.
Yeah, yeah, almost like a hyperlink in a document that if you want to see it right away, you can just click it and it zaps you to the picture. Or, if you want to just read straight through, because I'm the same way where I would want to read straight through and then go back and be like, oh, they're like, I want to look at the references, but in context. But
yeah, for me, putting them
order.
in the body, like almost assumes that they're drawing it as they're reading it, which
Yeah.
they're 100% not.
Right. Right. So with is all of the monsters that are coming purely from the Slavic folklore, or are you incorporating like German folklore as well? Or
We've
is
got
it purely
we've got a Philippine creature, and when I came on, I was like, "We're doing my favorite Scottish monster, dude. We got to put it in there somewhere."
yeah
100%. I've never seen it in anything. I've been obsessed with it for like 25 years. So we're going to put it in there and hopefully someone will make a TV series out of this shit. And then I can finally see this creature I won't name right now. Up there. And I think we spread out a little more. They're all European though.
okay
We don't have like a Wendigo or anything
okay
currently planned.
Yeah, mostly European. Well, the Filipino one is not European, but
That's
yeah,
not
mostly.
European. You're right. The Philippines are not in
not
Europe.
in the I'm not great with
Well-
geography, but I get what you're saying there, Sean.
It's mostly European, though. Yes.
Okay.
You won't see Jan Westron versus Bigfoot.
Hey,
Not
Bigfoot
yet.
could be.
Not in these 7 stories, at least. Who knows what the future holds? Because
Nobody knows.
I feel Bigfoot's a little overused.
I mean,
That is true.
he is like the most, I would assume he's the most well-known cryptid folk monster. Wendigo would probably be close, and then maybe the Loch Ness Monster, if that
Chupacabra
counts.
also.
Oh yeah, Chupacabra.
Mothman's pretty popular.
Mm-hmm.
But see, now don't you just kind of want to see them all in business suits having a meeting of like Cryptid Incorporated?
You know, I really do actually like cryptids perform or acting like just regular run of the mill people, where like humans are the cryptids and the general population are all different types of monsters. I would absolutely, even if it was slice of life, I would absolutely buy that book. No hesitation. Just
Oh
because
yeah,
I
like
want
they
to
live in
see,
remote areas and they think
yeah,
that humans are a cryptid. Like they've never seen a human. They don't really believe in them
yeah.
because they're just in areas where humans haven't gotten to.
Mm-hmm.
So you got that one Bigfoot, you know, in that pose.
Yeah.
That's him going, "Is that a human? What the
Are those the humans? Yeah.
That's why he's doing that weird look over his shoulder like, "What? Ah!"
We got a story here that we can absolutely.
With Bigfoots and that they didn't know humans existed, they did play a few years ago. Smallfoot animated film was released where Bigfoots had their own uh, society, and that human, the Smallfoot, was a legend.
That's awesome.
That reminds me of like a little drawing I did one day. It's like your stereotypical giant with like, you know, the furs on and a club, you know. But then I just labeled it Pico the Pygmy Giant. So like he looks like a giant, but he's only this big.
That's awesome. And that's, I mean, that goes into the like mashup of expectations. So not only is it like a detective case for Westron, like with the main cover having the police line and the crime scene tape that's up there, but then it's also mashed up with this horror element of the Slavic folklore. Like, is playing with genres and genre bending something that is like you're seeking to do that intentionally, or was it I like this thing and I like that thing, so make them together and make the together thing?
I think it's really the latter.
Yeah.
Honestly, me personally, I'm so focused on building this complex story and narrative and driving these characters in a satisfying way
Mm.
that I'm just sort of letting it live in the genre where it is. I'm not worried about trying to subvert expectations with that. Like I haven't been writing professionally all my life or anything. So I just really want to tell this straightforward story in the most careful and meticulous way I can.
Mm.
So, like, there are some things in the first issue that, like, little details that we had drawn in that will pay off in the last story arc.
Awesome.
It was just like setting all that up. As far as MJ's intent, you know, he's the architect here. And
I
I'm
didn't get finished.
no, go ahead.
I wanted to say that I didn't think of genre bending. I just felt that detective and horror would work together. It's just, I don't know. I hope that those two genres would be very happily married, in a sense.
Yeah. I mean, I agree completely.
And,
'Cause
I mean, it's not like a wholly original concept. Showcase Comics had Mark Merlin, Supernatural Detective, way back in
Yeah.
the day. Paired up with Eclipso. It's Scooby Doo if the monsters were real instead of guys in masks, really.
Yeah.
Except Jan doesn't like Scooby snacks.
As I say, I haven't seen a dog yet, so uh but no, I do. I mean, as a huge fan of Scooby, um, I think that's where a lot of my like love for detectives and solving thing. I don't like true crime stuff, but I'll pick up and read a Scooby comic any day of the week because I love the formula of it. I love how it works. I love when you've got several things combined together. And if nothing else, I learned from Scooby that humans really are the true monsters in the world. And like that has just that helped honestly inspire like my first comic. So I am a big Scooby fan. So I love that you made that comparison because it definitely does, like, those are mystery horror for kids, so let's grow that up and include real Slavic monsters and all of the supernatural elements, all in one pretty little gruesome bow, which I love.
Yeah, our version would be Jinkies. Cut to she's just a rib cage.
Yeah, that right there. Yeah, for sure. No, I think it's great. And so like we mentioned at the top, and I'm cheating and looking at the Indiegogo right now, which you can do too. Just tap the episode description below.
Westron.fandomlim.com will take you straight to our Indiegogo page.
There you go. But so you've got 3 covers plus a not safe for work cover. That is super dark and creepy, by the way.
I love it so much.
It's so good. And like you've got plenty of add-ons. I think personally, the cover B, where he's got the heavy blood that looks like it's raining down on his shoulders, and then the kids in the blood. Like I just think that that's a cool looking cover. So, plenty of good stuff that you can get with the Indiegogo Westron campaign. It funded fully on Kickstarter. And I read that if you back Indiegogo, you've already got the digital cover or the digital copy ready. So if they back it, they get it immediately, which is insane. That's super cool because that
we already sent the digital out to all our Kickstarter backers. Hoping that someone that's read it will throw a review our way. Because we, as much as we value your review and the other people that we send advanced copies to, we really want to know what the people who paid goddamn money for it think.
Yeah. Yep.
Because, they're invested.
Yeah.
Even if it's just $7.
Right. And that's all it is for the digital copy. So,
and I should point out, if that Indiegogo hits $500, all our Kickstarter backers, they had stretch goals that we hit. So they all got 4 bonus comics on top of the digital Westron comic. That's like 200 pages of great content to read. And you don't get those straight out of the gate with the Indiegogo, but if we hit half our goal on Indiegogo, we'll give all those to you as well.
That's cool. Yeah, and like I said, you've also got the bookmark that you turned into the tall art piece is so cool. Like I mean, come on. That's awesome.
Thank you. I was real happy about that, how that turned out.
It's beautiful.
And, one thing is, I randomly had an idea. I was cleaning my house or something. And I randomly had an idea that Jan should have a signature look. And what popped into my head was all black, white suspenders, white necktie. And I pitched it to MJ and David Anderson, our story editor. and they both loved it, and I think it works really well.
Yeah.
It allows us to do things like this, where you can tell it's him
Yep.
because he's got white suspenders and a white tie. Sort of like seeing the silhouette of the TARDIS. You see those windows, you see the little square for the pull to open sign, and you're like, that's the TARDIS.
Yep.
And you can really simplify it too. Just rectangle with 12 smaller rectangles, and that's the TARDIS.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing that I wanted. And I think it's important because it's a comic book. You know, if we were developing it as a TV series, I probably wouldn't think along those lines. But I think silhouettes are so important in a comic.
Yeah, and it also evokes like Sin City, right, where it's all black and white, and the heavy use of silhouettes and negative space, or just pops of white to really form. You know, I'm thinking of like Frank's face with all of the bandages, where it's just solid white rectangles all over. There's no outline of his face. There's no nothing, but you know exactly what he looks like because of the white bandages. Like that stark contrast is something that's very unique.
Absolutely, Frank
to
Miller's
comics.
greatest work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even
And
better
just-
than Dark Knight.
I would agree. I would agree. I get the Dark Knight and I get how important it was, but it's not my Frank. It's not my favorite Frank. Like I even like his Daredevil run more than Dark Knight. I just do, but maybe it's because I like Daredevil better than Batman. I don't know. I haven't examined that part of my brain.
Honestly, I'll say I find Frank Miller's writing to be a little too misogynist for my tastes now that I'm older.
Yeah.
But visually, you just can't top Sin City.
Yeah.
Like, goddamn, gorgeous.
Yeah. Yep. So those are my notes, but I'm not done with the two of you yet. So I have two more things to do. The first is super easy. I'm going to take a screenshot. So we're just going to pose, and I'm going to use that as the YouTube thumbnail forever. I don't own a white tie. I tried to I own like 150 ties, and I don't own a single white tie. So I can't just, pose with that. But we're going to pose. I'll get my keyboard shortcuts, and then I'll take a screenshot here. And we'll go.
Creepy face.
No, do it. Hey, do whatever you want, man. If you want to be super creepy, go for it.
I will hold up the comic, though. Let me find one.
I will also pull up the comic.
Doesn't say pre-press. These are all pre-press.
MJ's got one.
I'll just cover up that corner. Pretend there's a logo there.
There you go. Perfect. All right. We will count us down in 3, 2, 1. Cool. Took a bunch. So we're all set there. The second thing is that thing that I pre-warned you about before we started. I love doing this show because I get to talk to people that have all different backgrounds, all different walks of life, all different experiences. And yet we all love these things called comics. And so the thing that I like doing at the end of every episode is I like to just make sure that every creator that comes on the show has some space to share any message that they want people to hear directly from them. It could be a sales pitch for Wesstron. It could be something like white ties are better than black ties. The content doesn't matter so much as I just want to make sure that both of you have some space to share your thoughts or anything that you want people to hear directly from the two of you. So I'll let you rock, paper, scissors to find out who goes first, and we'll go from there.
MJ wants me to go first so that he can translate everything in his head. We've
Perfect.
done this enough. I know how this works.
It works exactly like that.
All right. So I'll just say the thing that I wish I had realized in my 20s and 30s, which is stop trying to make perfect art. If you have something you want to do, get out there, let it suck, let it get better over time. I have so many projects that never saw the light of day because I was trying to needle them and make them perfect in the background before I brought them out. And if you're just willing to put yourself out there and make a thing, and like, I mean, look at anything, literally anything, your favorite comic strip, your favorite book series, your favorite TV series. So many of them start off shitty and then get better as they go. Don't be afraid to do that. I mean, I love Doctor Who. The episode Rose that came out in 2005, almost unwatchable. But my God, you gotta just let it grow. So get out there, do the thing, make the thing. Don't worry about it being perfect. Suck for a bit. It's the only way you can really learn. Oh, and follow up. When people tell you that you suck, don't just get mad at them, take it in. Because even if they're just being assholes, there can be stuff to learn from in there. Mm. Eric July.
A beautiful speech. Well, how do I top that?
It's true.
That's my other piece of advice. Don't ever compare yourself to others. The only person you should be trying to top is yourself from yesterday.
With that, I
because
also
there's
have to
always
agree.
going to be somebody that's going to make you feel like shit. Like, oh, I've written 18 novels, but God damn it, I'm no Stephen King. You never will be.
Right.
Stop comparing yourself to other people.
Yeah.
Just do better than past you. 'Cause past you is
Yeah.
a piece of shit.
Yeah, just grow as a human being. I have, well, so I will stick to the comic, and if you want to check the preview out, we still have it on our website, westroncomic.com. Before choosing to back the Indiegogo. And if you want to talk with us, we are on almost all social media except X. That we are.
Won't do
So
it.
far, we are on the same page that we don't want to have an X account. And if you would like to talk with us a bit closer, a Discord server for the comic also will be launched in a very near future. It's
Oh yeah,
almost
and we
ready.
also have a subreddit at
Yeah.
r/Westron Comic.
Yeah, that's true.
And nobody's on it yet. I haven't invited anybody yet. This is me inviting everybody to r/Westron Comic.
Perfect. And I've got all of the socials that you sent me in the description as well. I actually got yelled at by Facebook because I was trying to put too many links in the description. So here on YouTube, if you want to find all of their links, they're all linked below. It's super easy to find them.
We had to make up for our refusal to have an X account.
Right.
By getting everything else.
Everything
Threads
else.
and Mastodon and Blue Sky. I actually really love Blue Sky.
Mhm.
I don't know anybody that's really using Mastodon, but we're on there. Yay.
Everybody was on there for like 7 minutes. And then
Oh, I'm like the one of the first signed up for most of the different social media accounts, including several that I have no recollection of that may or may not exist anymore. Because, we're all so unhappy with the social media options as they are. And then a new one comes out and you're like, yeah, sign me up.
Yep.
And then you never use it because
it
you
ends
just
up filling
keep
up with
with
all
the evil
nonsense.
ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
do really like Blue Sky. Blue Sky's a good place. that's mostly positivity. And it's
Mo-
as close to old Twitter as you can get.
That's that's
Twitter that
also
was.
the days of yesteryear when it was fun to have conversations with people on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, I enjoyed talking with the two of you. I really I enjoyed the first issue. I hope that it continues to do nothing but succeed and exceed all of your expectations. How's that for some big words?
Well, I appreciate it. We both do. And we
Yeah.
do have the first story arc fully scripted.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
cool.
So
fully finished, so it's just when we have the funds, it's go directly to the artists.
if we had done like much better on the Kickstarter, we were gonna do the whole first story arc.
Oh wow.
Just like finish the whole thing.
Yeah.
Here's money, artists. Draw until your eyes bleed.
Yep. And then draw like 2 more panels, please.
As it is, we have enough money to fund the art for the second issue, so that's what we're going to do. And hopefully we can grow those campaigns a bit and keep rolling that forward until we can produce more than one issue and get a solid release schedule going until we have the whole thing out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And trades.
trades.
And a big red leather bound omnibus edition.
I love that you're
Yeah,
already thinking that. That's perfect. And it's the perfect format. It's built into the comic already.
Right?
Yeah, and I think the series will be fun to reread after finishing it.
And just got to throw this out there. The journal was the first thing MJ, when he initially sent me his initial idea, it was like, here's the script, page 1. There's a journal open on a table.
A red journal. It always was red journal.
That's great.
See?
And you've got the people's support. So we're all
Thank you,
just
Probot.
waiting. Everybody is excited for more Westron, as am I.
Murphin, by the way, that was our first backer.
First. First.
Nice. There's always a special place in creators' hearts for their first backer. So hats off to you, Murphin, because that's a cool title to have if you once you know that you
Unless there's more than one Murphin that's really into Westron, which would also be real cool.
Westron, the comic for Murphins. That's, you know what I mean? Like, that should be your new tagline. But guys, this is super fun. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with me on a Monday, giving me something to look forward to as I worked through the grind of regular work. I look forward to more stories with Jan, more cracking open his red journal of supernatural tales. Hang tight after I end this. I've got logistics for you, but for everybody else, thanks for being here. Thanks for sounding off in the chat. This is a very active chat, which is always fun to have interaction. So I appreciate that. Come back, do the thing and subscribe it and like it and share it with your folks that would also enjoy hearing more into the process of Westron. I do this every Sunday and Monday right here on Longbox Punk on YouTube. And so what's a good podcast without a good tagline? This one's mine. Go do what's good for you, punks, and read some indie comics because we, there we go, are out of here.
Ciao.